Hi, my name is Abby Lynch, and I'm the Teen Services Librarian at the Brookfield Library, back for another week of Teen Book Talks. This week, I'm really excited because what we're going to be talking about is graphic novel adaptations of novels. So this is a big trend lately where there's been a lot of graphic novels being published that are adaptations of really popular teen books or really classic literature. So there's a lot of variety even just in these graphic novel adaptations. So I'm going to show off the graphic novels today, and you can place them on hold for curbside pickup online, or you can call 203-775-6241 to ask about them at the library. Or if you're not a graphic novel fan, keep watching because all of these have a regular novel counterpart. So if you hear a description that you like, but you're not so keen on the graphic novel, you can read the regular version as well. So a lot of options for you today, and I'll get started. Our first book today is The Crossover by Kwame Alexander, illustrated by Dawud Anyabwile, and this was originally a novel in verse, so it makes for an interesting adaptation. With a bolt of lightning on my kicks, the court is sizzling. My sweat is drizzling. Stop all that quivering, 'cause tonight I'm delivering, raps 12-year-old Josh Bell. Thanks to their dad, he and his twin brother Jordan are kings on the court. But Josh has more than basketball in his blood. He's got mad beats, too, which help him find his rhythm when it's all on the line. So that's The Crossover by Kwame Alexander. The cover is black and white and orange, and the insides are black and white and orange as well. It's just those three colors. You can see as I flip through that this has a lot of text for a graphic novel, but I think a lot of the poetry and the poems from the verse book were kept intact for this adaptation. So that's why you see kind of big blocks of text there. It's keeping the poem sort of in its original format. So that's one to check out if you are interested in sports. That's The Crossover by Kwame Alexander and illustrated by Dawud Anyabwile. So we have another adaptation of a novel in verse, and this one's Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds, illustrated by Danica Novgorodoff. And I talked about this one in the Margin Project video because we actually have this book in the Margin Project and someone had added illustrations to it. So I think that's just perfect. You can read the Margin Project book, see what one of our patrons drew in it, and then you can read the graphic novel and see how it compares. In Long Way Down, Will's older brother Sean has been shot, dead. Will feels a sadness so great he can't explain it, but in his neighborhood there are the rules. Number 1, crying, don't, no matter what. Number 2, snitching, don't, no matter what. And number 3, revenge, do, no matter what. But bullets miss, you can get the wrong guy, and there's always someone else who knows to follow the rules. So that's Jason Reynolds' Long Way Down. I'm going to show you some of these illustrations. They're sort of watercolory, and, oop, can't get in frame here. There's some like sections that are like memories that are all in this blue, inky blue kind of color. And then there's pops of color other places, but they're these great kind of watercolor illustrations. And I think the formatting, there's a lot of visual formatting in the text in the original, and I think a lot of interesting formatting with the text in the graphic novel as well. Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds, illustrations by Danica Novgorodoff. Our next book is Fangirl by Rowell. You can see here that this is the first volume. This is going to be a manga series, and so I don't think it tells the whole story of the book Fangirl, but it starts the story. And Rowell is a popular teen author, but she's also moved into writing a lot of graphic novels. She's done Runaways for Marvel and Pumpkinheads and some other graphic novels as well. So it's interesting for her to have an adaptation of one of her original novels published as a graphic novel. And you can see it's in manga format, but reads in our standard English style. It doesn't read from the back of what we would call the back of the book forward like Japanese manga does, but you can see the black and white art style, the classic manga character styling. And Fangirl is about Kath, and Kath is a Simon Snow fan. Okay, everybody is a Simon Snow fan, but for Kath, being a fan is her life. Kath's sister has mostly grown away from fandom, but Kath just can't let it go. Now that they're in college, Kath must decide if she's ready to start living her own life. But does she even want to if it means leaving Simon Snow behind? Kath doesn't need friends IRL. She has her twin sister Ren, and she's a popular fanfic writer in the Simon Snow community with thousands of fans online. But now that she's in college, Kath is completely outside of her comfort zone. There are suddenly all these new people in her life. She's got a surly roommate with a charming boyfriend, a writing professor who thinks fan fiction is the end of the civilized world, a handsome new writing partner, and she's barely heard from Ren all semester. That's Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Volume 1, so I look forward to seeing how this series progresses. Fangirl, the graphic novel, was adapted by Sam Maggs, and the artwork is by Gabi Nam. The next book is Juliet Takes a Breath by Gabby Rivera, illustrated by Celia Moscote. Juliet Milagros Palante is leaving the Bronx and headed to Portland, Oregon. She just came out to her family and isn't sure if her mom will ever speak to her again. But don't worry, Juliet has something kind of resembling a plan that'll help her figure out what it means to be Puerto Rican, lesbian, and out. See, she's going to intern with Harlow Brisbane, her favorite feminist author, someone who's the last work on feminism, self-love, and lots of other things that will help Juliet find her ever-elusive epiphany. There's just one problem. Harlow's clueless, not from the Bronx, and doesn't have the answers. Okay, maybe that's more than one problem, but Juliet never said it was a perfect plan. So this one is based on a book that came out a couple years ago that got really great reviews. It's got like peach and pink illustrations. I think they maybe changed the background based on where she is. I think the pink pages are maybe when she's in Portland, and the orange pages are when she's in the Bronx. This book is best suited for older teens, and the graphic novel is available on Hoopla. Next up, we have Speak, the graphic novel, which is written by Laurie Halse Anderson and adapted and illustrated by Emily Carroll. And so this is based on the book Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson, which is, I would say, a modern YA classic. Speak up for yourself. We want to know what you have to say. From the first moment of her freshman year at Meriwether High, Melinda knows this is a big fat lie, part of the nonsense of high school. She is friendless, an outcast, because she busted an end-of-summer party by calling the cops, so now nobody will talk to her, let alone listen to her. Through her work on an art project, she is finally able to face what really happened that night. She was raped by an upperclassman, a guy who still attends Meriwether and is still a threat to her. So, this one is, like I said, a modern classic, Speak. It's about, obviously, a really serious topic, and I think Emily Carroll was a great illustrator for this. There's a lot of, it's grayscale illustrations, but you might recognize Emily Carroll's work from Through the Woods. I think this cover, you can definitely see the stylistic similarities between this and Through the Woods, which is a horror compilation, so I find that a really interesting choice for an illustrator, that her work is very haunting and kind of spooky, and for such a serious and haunting topic to the character, it's a really good fit for an illustrator. So that's Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson and Emily Carroll. Next up, we have another classic, A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. The adaptation is done by, and the illustrations are done by Hope Larson, whose work you might recognize from All Summer Long. That's a popular graphic novel in our teen graphic novel section. I think this one will be good for middle school and high school graphic novel readers who like this sort of modern graphic novel style. I'll just get into the pages first. It's black and white and blue illustrations, but you can see the characterizations are definitely in Hope Larson's style. And we'll tell you a little bit about A Wrinkle in Time. Late one night, 3 otherworldly creatures appear and sweep Meg Murray, her brother Charles Wallace, and their friend Calvin O'Keefe away on a mission to save Mr. Murray, who has gone missing while doing top-secret work for the government. They travel via Tesseract, a wrinkle that transports one across space and time, to the planet Camazotz, where Mr. Murray is being held captive. There they discover a dark force that threatens not only Mr. Murray, but the safety of the whole universe. So that's A Wrinkle in Time, the graphic novel by Madeleine L'Engle, adapted and illustrated by Hope Larson. I have 2 left that I'm going to show, but I'm not going to get into the whole descriptions. They're very famous books that have adaptations. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. And this one was adapted and illustrated by Fred Fordham. So if you wanted to supplement some school reading or you've heard about this book, but you don't, you're a graphic novel reader and maybe you'd prefer to read it that way. I don't know that anybody's thinking that they're replacements for classics, but certainly a good way to get the knowledge and the experience of the storytelling in a format that you like. So that's To Kill a Mockingbird. And then we also have George Orwell's Animal Farm, adapted to graphic novel by Odyr. And these illustrations are very kind of painterly, very painterly, and I think that the formatting almost reminds me more of a storybook. So that's kind of interesting. So those are some other ones you could also check out if you would like. So I hope that something here interested you. Maybe you're interested in trying a graphic novel version of a story that you liked a lot. Maybe you're a graphic novel reader who's been wanting to read some classics and now you have that as an option in your preferred format. Maybe you just like a good story and some of those sounded good to you. Anyway, I hope that you'll give us a call at 203-775-6241 or place a hold online to use our curbside pickup service to check one of these out. Until next time, have a great week.